Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to SA Accounting Academy. Here's a short clip on one of our previous webinars. I hope that you really do enjoy it.
And it's time just to say hi, it's Caryn Maitland here on the other end of the screen. Just a quick sound check to say good morning and for everybody just to know we're about to start. Okay. I hope you've all signed up for the conference that's coming up. Flip, is it next week already? Trying to get my head around. It's the 19th and 20th of November. SAAA, along with other partners, are sponsoring a massive international conference. I'm very blessed and honored to be one of the 12 presenters. It's an international lineup. So please call it the premier event. Go to the SAAA website. I'm sure that that you'll see the marketing. I'm sure you've seen the advertisements and the social media posts. It's going to be a fantastic event for those of you that are interested in practice management, particularly. We're trying to make it sharp and intense and have lots of takeaways that you can take back to your practice so that you can improve your practice and have international best practice basically be the gold standard, best of class, and all the rest. So I'm amongst very good company as one of the presenters, and it's 20-minute, half an hour slots for each of the 12 presenters. So it's going to be quick and sharp and changing. So I really look forward to seeing you at the conference. I think it's going to be a fantastic event, a groundbreaking type setup. So please look into that, and I'm sure that we'll see more of you there. Okay, so good morning everyone, and welcome to an accounting update. A bit of a challenging update to put together, I have to say, because the work plan that the International Accounting Standards Board had planned for the year and the deadlines and the work that was supposed to roll out and roll forward didn't really get going because we had a slight disruption this year. Somebody said to me that we're a third of the way through the November, and I was just like, please stop. My son has 2.5 weeks of school left, and then the calendar year for him is up. And this year just seems to like we've blinked and it's done. So we are getting we've had a very interesting year, some ups and downs and roller coaster rides. So I've taken a little bit of liberty with the accounting update. I wanted always, for those of you that know me, to create a practical course, a practical session that you can take into your work and use it straight away. And I will give you an idea as to what's happening with the on the international space. We're in a bit of a unique space at the moment when it comes to the International Accounting Standards Board, and when it comes to the standards and the work that is being done, in that we are in a, not necessarily maybe the eye of the hurricane, but we're in a place of reflection and research, request for information, discussion papers. So there isn't a tremendous amount, except for some tweaking of a few concepts and ideas here or there, and some tidying up and some housekeeping. We're not really in a space of 100 new standards. We kind of have had the big standards come through, being IFRS 9, 15, and 16. Which, by the way, I'm going to come back to in today's session, just for lessons learned, and some practical considerations for those of you that are working with it. But we are almost in a hibernation kind of period of reflection and of development. I think maybe that's the right word, in the international space. So if you go to the International Accounting Standards Board's work plan screen, and you look at what they're trying to do, there are no standards up for issue. Okay, there's exposure drafts that are coming out, and most of the exposure drafts are coming out next year if they've got them up and ready for that. A whole lot of request for informations and discussion papers. Okay, a couple of brand new spanking ideas that they're wanting to put out there and to get people's feelings on. The IFRS for SMEs is under a comprehensive review process at the moment. So that is where we're at, okay, which is very exciting and very interesting. very difficult to bring to the practitioners. Okay, so this, if this almost would have been a year where we could have almost considered not having an accounting update, and rolling it forward to next year, where there probably would have been more meaty topics to discuss. But we have had this thing called COVID-19 this year, okay, which made me stop and think, well, if I do compilations, I do draft financials, I do review financials on behalf of other practitioners for best practice, I assist directors with their audit files. So what is the topical thing as an accounting practitioner right now? It's creating financials that cope with the COVID pandemic, okay? It's assisting people with challenges and problems that are real. And it's not just the 2020 financials that have got the impact, okay? This pandemic is going to be living with us for a while. So believe it or not, if you think about it, February 2021 is only 3.5 months away. Wow, that in itself is something. Okay, so we really are just around the corner from the next set of, and December financials are 6 weeks away. Okay, December year ends. So we are still in the middle of it. We're still in the thick of it. Medical practitioners are telling us, and the scientists are telling us, that this pandemic and this crisis really is going to continue for another year. If you look at what's happening in Europe at the moment, they're all going back into hard lockdown. So England, France, Germany, Italy, and pretty much every day you wake up, another country is going into hard lockdown. I know that New York has also just been put into hard lockdown again, or into an upgraded lockdown. I don't think South Africa's numbers warrant a lockdown at the moment, although I do know that we've been called to a family meeting sometime this week, and President Ramaphosa is scheduled to address the nation and to discuss lockdown concerns and to discuss COVID. So we are not out of the woods. As much as people would like to believe that South Africa's numbers have been improving, we're going into summer. This is generally a time where the heat and the sunshine help everybody's health. This is still a real issue and a real problem. So the moment that the health professionals are having their issues, we as business practitioners need to realize that we are there to save livelihoods. The other challenge with COVID and with this year's issues is that there have been a knock-on effect from decisions that have been made under extreme duress and under extreme stress, that we are having to reflect in the financials and are going to be a legacy in the financials for the next few years. Okay, so we are called to make sure that our financial statements fairly represent and fairly reflect the situation and circumstances that the companies find themselves in. And, whether you are preparing and drafting the financials, whether you are a decision maker in the company as a financial director or financial manager, or whether you're auditing these financial statements, or whether you're unpacking the tax consequences of these financial statements, a user to these financial statements, these are considerations that have to be considered and have to be thought about. Okay, there is also an ethical issue here, and the ethical issue here is something that has been very real to me. Okay, for those of you that know me well, you'll know that the other space that I play in is ethics. Okay, my first love and my first heart and home is financial reporting, and I spent 12 years lecturing this at the university, so financial reporting is always going to be my first love. But I do have a passion for ethics and legislation and for the other areas. But ethics is becoming, I speak on the phone almost daily with practitioners that are dealing with ethical challenges and ethical consequences. And a very common query and question is, finance providers are wanting my financial statements to look in a certain way in order to grant me finance. Okay. So finance providers are wanting your financials to look in a certain way to grant finance, and your companies are desperate for that cash infusion. I always think of cash as almost like a blood transfusion for a company. What are your, there are all sorts of challenges to the financials as to debt versus equity, long-term versus short-term, accounting policies, so that the financials can be dressed up the way the finance providers need them to be looked at in order to get past credit policy and credit checks, so that the finance can be made available.
I hope that you enjoyed that video. For more of our webinar videos, go to www.accountingacademy.co.za. Thank you and have a lovely day.